URC round number 15, folks, is in the bag. Things are getting pretty tasty as we head into the final 3 rounds of the competition. Still a bit of a logjam in the middle, with some of the top sides pulling away from the chasing pack. We'll go through the week that was. Kind of split wins for the Scottish and the Italian sides. The Welsh sides also played each other at the Principality. The Lions let the side down for the South Africans, and Leinster flying the flag for the Irish sides this week. Wrap them up pretty quick, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on the round that was. We started with Edinburgh and the Sharks from the Hive Stadium. Cracking atmosphere at that game. It finished a 1-pointer, 18 points to 17, with the Sharks somehow coming away with an away win. The Sharks are in 4th. Comfortably in 4th, and yet they still don't look that good. They were, I don't want to say lucky, because they made some incredible try-saving plays in this game. I did a full match review if you want the details, but I mean, Khaleesi, Esterhazen, incredible power from that guy. Ethan Hooker, look on your arm, like just try-saving moment after try-saving moment. That's not luck, that's determination, but boy did Edinburgh let some points slip in that game. How many times were they held up? It's a few days ago now, but it was multiple times. Edinburgh had more than enough chances to win that game and didn't win them. And the Sharks stayed within touch. And when they took their moment at the end of the game, MUNvBUL over in the corner, it's enough to get the result. So, tries through Lang, Ritchie, and Ashman. I mean, Ritchie was bloody busy throughout the entire game. Just the one conversion. Fussy and MUNvBUL getting the tries for the Sharks. Sharks missed a few penalties as well, so actually both sides left some points out there. But I mean, I said it in the match review as well. The stats are not pretty reading for Edinburgh. 61% possession, 66% territory, 8 clean breaks to 2. You should be winning a game where you get that kind of number, but no, it's a losing bonus point. It is a losing bonus point for Edinburgh, and given that they are in 11th, they certainly could have used a home win in that one. I mean, Lang got 4 defenders beaten. That was a bit of attacking prowess, and Khaleesi had 16 tackles, so a defensive shift from him. But the Sharks are they're a hell of a squad. If they click just in time for the finals, goodness knows where they could go. But they kind of started their way through. But as I said, credit to them, because a win is a win, and Edinburgh, well, the losing bonus point means they're still in that chasing pack. But as I said, they could have been potentially a wee bit higher if they'd managed to get the 4 points. The Lions of Benetton. Speaking of sides, man, the Lions' hopes are hanging by a real thread now. Because the Lions are on, 31 points? They're 9 points behind 8th spot. They need to start hoping other sides around that area lose, although the Lions have got a home run to end things. But they were at home against Benetton, got beaten 42-31. That's a high-scoring game. High-scoring this week. Very, very high-scoring game. And to be fair, some soft tries from both sides, just like missed tackles and letting the ball bounce. Like Marius Lowe got a bit of a gift one for the Lions. Maybe that's just a bit of luck of the bouncing rugby ball. Likewise, Umaga got a pretty soft one for Benetton, so I don't think the defensive coaches of either of these sides will be particularly happy with this performance, but certainly a fair bit of entertainment value. Cade Voliter hitting a 50-plus metre penalty to open the scoring. I think it's always pretty special when a guy hits one from his own half, but then Benetton replied with 3 tries. So, from 3-0 up to significantly down. Halftime was like 32-17. They had 3 yellow cards, though, in the second half, so it allowed the Lions to make a bit of a comeback. But I think they only scored 1 in like 30 minutes of yellow card time for Benetton. So that's a little bit, troubling if you can't win at home, especially when the opposition's had 30 minutes with a man down, or at times it was 2 men off at the same time. But very encouraging for Benetton. They're also one of those sides who've kind of been in that mix of just outside the top 8, just inside the top 8. Well, now they're really just inside the top 8. I mean, they're still very much, they're in 5th, but they're still vulnerable. They're not enough points ahead to be comfortable, but that's a hell of a win from them. Edwin van der Merwe for the Lions, 7 defenders beaten, plus a try in a losing shift from them. Lowe and Fenta plus Pretorius got the tries from them. So they did get the 4 tries, but Benetton, Umaga, Kapelti Mendy, Marin and Rutsa got their tries. So high-scoring affair in Joburg. Both sides get the 4-try bonus points. Lorenzo Canone topped the tackle count with 14. And that's a really great win on the road for the Benetton lads. Ospreys and Cardiff in the first of the Judgment Day games from the Principality. 36 points to 19. That is a very important win for Cardiff because they've got not the easiest run in. They've still got a trip to South Africa to come. So getting the win over the Ospreys, plus they got 4 tries. Well, they got 5. Well, they got more than 4 tries. They got the 4-try bonus point. That's very, very important for them. Hammer Webb got 3 of them of his own. So they got easily more than 4 tries to Cardiff. Yeah, the Ospreys punished a Cardiff yellow card early. But, Cardiff replied really well, I think, with 4 first half tries. So Cardiff playing some good rugby. Like I mentioned, Hammer Webb gets 3, 1 at the end of the game. Alex Mann bagged a couple. But the Ospreys, interestingly, seemingly kind of dead and buried in the first half after conceding all those points, at least managed to push it back to a 2-point game within the last 10 minutes. So they weren't giving up, but then 36-19, how does that happen? Well, they conceded a try and a penalty try in the last 2 minutes. So not the ideal finish to the game for the Ospreys boys, but anytime you see a guy get a hat-trick, that's a pretty special one. So, turnovers conceded 13-5. If you're going to cough up that much more ball than your opponent, you are likely not in for a great day. I mean, Jack Morgan always looks good. 5 defenders beaten from him. Alex Mann managed to try and 21 tackles. There were 5 yellow cards in that game. Penalty count was also pretty horrendously high, 17 by Cardiff. You're probably lucky to get away with that kind of penalty count and still win by that margin. 12 by the Ospreys guys. So, that's the first of the Welsh derby games from that weekend. I think on at the same time was the Stormers playing Connacht from down in Cape Town, 34 points to 29. Is that the game of the week? Maybe that, the Edinburgh Sharks one was also a cracker. The Bulls and Munster one was also a cracker. But in terms of more points on the board, the Stormers and Connacht, there was a whole bunch of tries on display for this one. Speaking of hat-tricks, Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu gets a hat-trick within 26 minutes. That is quite unbelievable. That guy was putting the skills on display and had a hell of a try assist behind the back for Hartzenberg later on in the game. So 3 tries plus a try assist from him. That guy was strolling his way into man of the match. He's quite the player. But I mean, Connacht made a bloody good game of this. I don't think many people gave them a chance down in South Africa. They're another one of the sides outside the top 8. But 34-29, they were well in this game. It was proper kind of tit-for-tat stuff. The Stormers scored first, 7-0. Connacht immediately replied, 7-all, 14-7, 14-all, 21-14. Hat-trick try made it 26-14, but Connacht, they weren't done at halftime. It was 26-24. So a proper arm wrestle, ding-dong battle in this one. Both sides got yellow cards. Connacht maybe looked like they had won it at the death, with Cordero going over for a try, but it gets pinged for obstruction. Is it the second time that's happened to them recently? It happened to somebody else recently. Was it Connacht? Yeah, that's a brutal one when you've gone over for the try and then the TMO, I think pretty rightly, gets on the horn for the obstruction. There was not really much need for that from Connacht, but yeah, that's a brutal one. Line breaks 8-7, so it seems like a pretty open game, doesn't it? Tackling percentage for Connacht is not great, 79%. Maybe that's not high enough for game of the week. You're letting in some soft ones with that, honestly. But 86% from the Stormers is a fair bit better. Roos made 13 tackles for the Stormers. Feinberg and Ngomazulu broke 5 tackles. P.S. O'Connor also broke 5 tackles. So, some proper talent on display. And then Munster and the Bulls also played out a really close game. Now, this one's got a bit of controversy about it, sadly, with the officials coming under the spotlight, because apparently rugby has too many rules. Andrea Piatti, and I think also a bit of the spotlight needs to go on his officiating team. Someone needed to tell him that Munster didn't need to go down to 14 men when the scrums went uncontested. Munster lost 2 props in this game and played 13-14 minutes with a man down because they thought, due to the nature of both Munster's props going off, the rules would state, or the laws state that they had to go down to 14. But no, because Ollie Jaeger's one was an HIA. They shouldn't have been down to 14. It should have been 15 on 15 for the entire contest. I feel like, who's the one with the most time on their hands here? Like, probably the TMO is the one that needs to get on the horn and just say, because the TMO's got the time to check, right? Just get on the horn and say to the ref, by the way, mate, that Jaeger one was an HIA, so we're not going down to 14, we're sticking at 15. But they did realise, but only after a month, they had been playing a decent chunk of the game, as I said, more than 10 minutes with a man down wrongly. You don't see that kind of thing happen every day. It sucks that that's like the main talking point of the game, but as I said, that just doesn't happen. You just don't see that kind of thing happen. I guess it does every now and again. They've got a whole framework about this, like first player, what is the reason they go off? Is it a yellow card? Is it a red card? Is it a contact injury? Is it HIA? Is it blood? All these things. And then second player, why did they go off? And you've got to kind of plot it. Like there's so many different potential combinations. I forget how many. It's like 20 odd. So I've got a bit of sympathy for the refs and not being able to remember that. But the TMO surely can just look that up if he's not sure. One of the officials needed to get it. You got a referee, 2 linesmen, and a TMO. Somebody needed to spot that one. Anyway, apart from that, there was a game Rugby played. The Bulls won at 16 points to 13. That's a hell of a victory for the Bulls. Very, very good victory for the Bulls. 16-13. It's just a penalty that's the difference. A try each. Marcel Coetzee was a bit of a standout. He got a try and made a heap of tackles in this game. And Abraham's got the one for Munster, which was a pretty slick one out wide. The rest is kicks. Penalties, one penalty at the end, basically the difference. But yeah, uncontested scrums at the end. Real tight, I feel. Like, remember the line breaks in the Connacht game, the Stormers was 8-7. In this game, it was 3-1 to Munster, so much tighter. Tackle percentages were a lot higher, 88% to 90%. So much of a more of an arm wrestle game, but more kicking. Coetzee, 31 tackles. 31 is insane. You know, even getting to the 20s is cracking. He gets 31 plus, he gets the try plus. 7 of his tackles are dominant tackles. That is a huge shift. Tom Farrell had 18 carries, but yeah, sadly for that one, it's not like the match-winning penalty that's the kind of talking point, which is a, you know, Johannes's one's a pretty sweet winner after he'd missed one not too long earlier. But it's the bloody officials who come under the spotlight for not knowing the rules or laws. But yeah, big win for the Bulls, lads. 16 points to 13 away at Thomond Park. Big one. The other all Welsh affair, Scarlets and the Dragons. Scarlets got a bit of a scare from the Dragons in this one. They win at 31-23. But it's a wee bit of a comeback. Dragons were up, what, like 20 points to 7? Yeah, that's maybe the Dragons' best chance to get a win for a wee while. Yeah, tries through Rosa. He got a couple. Hewitt got one, so some nice tries from the Dragons. They got 3, but having been down, the Scarlets boys were able to come back. Henry Thomas got the first one, which was kind of close range. Took 20 minutes to even open the scoring in that game. But then Hepburn got one for Feeder, and then Blair Murray with the kind of bonus point try from a kick, and Gather gets the bounce of the ball. So, yeah, comeback win for the Scarlets. Lead changes, and in terms of their campaign, very, very important win, because the Dragons are so far below everybody else. They're almost kind of 3 points, and you need to maximise them. Scarlets, as I said, were pushed for it, maybe a bit more than they would have liked, but they come away with maximum points from that one, which is basically all you can ask for. So, yeah, Scarlets are certainly very much still in the hunt, just sitting outside the playoffs at the minute. Stats on that one, like possessions, 50-50. Line breaks is 7-3 to the Scarlets, but turnovers one is 9-6 to the Dragons, so the Dragons were certainly in that game. Wainwright, 18 carries, that's massive. Blair Murray, 3 clean breaks, he's sharp, but yeah, a little bit of a scare. Leinster and Ulster did a full match review for that one as well. That one was pretty emphatic. It was tight at half-time, but Leinster too good. Dan Sheehan off the bench, bloody hat-trick from that guy. He is a magic man. Tommy O'Brien also looks real sharp. He's in very, very good form. He gets a try. He sets up a try. Ulster scored 17 points, which is no mean feat against Leinster these days, especially away from home. In the Champions Cup, Leinster have been nailing people, so the fact that they managed to bag a couple of tries is certainly something, but it's not going to get them into the playoffs. It's not going to get them a losing bonus point. It's not going to get them a 4-try bonus point. And Ulster had injuries in that game, which makes it even worse. Maybe hurts their campaign. going forward for the last 3 rounds, but we'll kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, Leinster, very, very good. Culhane, 20 tackles. Stockdale beat 9 defenders, but yeah, penalty try, Sheehan hat-trick, Ringrose, Tommy O'Brien, Clarkson. Leinster, like at one point they pushed Ulster back like 20, 30 metres just with defensive phase after phase. So they are really, really hard team to break down. And then Glasgow against Zebre. Speaking of teams which you would think are free points, Zebre are not the free points they were in other years. They also gave Glasgow a bit of a scare. They were up 6-0 at half-time. And probably should have been more because Licata absolutely blew a gift of a try if he just put the ball down. Too casual, one-handed put down. It's a knock on. He drops it right as he's supposed to be putting the bloody thing down under the sticks after they've done all the hard work. Very frustrating, but yeah, 6-0 up were Zebre at half-time, only to see Glasgow punish them twice during a yellow card period. Mackay and McDowell getting the 2 tries for Glasgow, so they were made to work for that. There's no 4-try bonus point here for Glasgow, but they do get the 4 points to keep themselves fairly comfortably in that second spot. But second from top up against second from bottom, you might have thought this one would have been a wee bit emphatic. Maybe Glasgow was still shaking off a bit from the Champions Cup the week before, but they get the 4 points. Zebre at least are competitive this year, although they'll be gutted. As I said, if they get the Licata try, who knows? But Glasgow see it through. Turnovers conceded in this game was 20-22, which is horrendously high from both sides. The turnovers won is also very high, 12-10. That contributes to the turnovers conceded, but some of those turnovers conceded are just like plain drop balls. Glasgow had the possession, had the territory, but yeah, scored the only tries of the game, so that's promising. Licata won 3 turnovers, so that's also good, but he blew a try, which is what he'll be remembered about more in this game. Jack Mann, also 3 dominant tackles from him, putting in a shift on defence. How is the table looking now? Leinster still miles ahead of everybody in first on 67 points. Glasgow, 58 points in second, so the Bulls are behind them only by about that 1 match, so 54, and then the Sharks on 49. So like I said, the Sharks, they don't look that good, but they're bloody miles ahead in the scheme of things, ahead of Benetton, who are the next best team on 41, Cardiff on 41, Munster on 40, and Stormers on 40. The chasing pack is still not far away with 3 weeks to go. 38 Scarlets, 37 Ulster, 37 Edinburgh, 35 Connacht. Then you're starting to get into the probably already done for sides, like mathematically still a chance, the Ospreys and the Lions, but I mean, like the Lions have got 3 home games to come. Maximum 15 points out of them. You know, they could get past the teams in 7th and 8th and whatnot right now, but you're kind of hoping other teams don't pick up points. Cardiff is in the top 8 right now, but they've still got a trip to South Africa to come. Glasgow, I think, have got their last home game this week because they'll be playing the Bulls. Cardiff are home to Munster, so their last home game as well. Important game for Munster too, that one, so that's a probably kind of must-watch game. But then Glasgow and the Bulls is second against third. That's going to be very, very tasty too. The Lions up against Connacht. Like I said, the Lions, with their 4-game home run, have mucked up the first one, so they need to get probably 5 points from Connacht. Connacht are ahead of them on the table, so that's potentially whoever wins knocks the other one out, almost. The Ospreys and the Dragons. The Ospreys are another one, well, both them and the Dragons have both got trips to South Africa coming, but the Dragons are, their season's been done for a while, but yeah, the Ospreys would like to bank 5 points before heading down south to give themselves any hope. Stormers and Benetton. Well, Benetton have shown what they can do in South Africa, so that one should be still pretty tasty. The Stormers are just hanging on in 8th spot, so they need to get a win. It's really that kind of business end type of the season, isn't it? Time of the season. Scarlets and Leinster, I think it's the Scarlets' last home game as well before they head to South Africa. And now you got Leinster coming into town, so it's a hard road in for the Scarlets. They are just on the precipice of the playoffs, but points between now and then look tough. Zebre and Edinburgh. I think Edinburgh's last 3 games are against all teams currently out of the top 8. So Edinburgh have a decent run in, even though they're out of the playoffs at the moment. And then Ulster, their last home game, up against the Sharks. So they could also use some points. The Sharks, you know, have got comfortably a decent spot enough. So maybe Ulster, if they can get all their players fit, we'll be feeling confident for that one. But you guys let us know your thoughts. That is the URC 15th round. Still 3 regular season rounds to go. Who do you see making the top 8? Because it's a really hard one to call right now. But as I said, a bunch of Welsh sides going to South Africa, so you would think South African sides will be eyeing up some last couple of round points, because traditionally the Welsh sides have not travelled to South Africa very well. But you guys let us know your thoughts, and talk to you guys again soon. See you later.